This video is all about perspective in sort of water. If you're going to add water into your scene, rivers, that sort of thing, then especially if you struggle to make the river sort of fit into the landscape that you're painting, and this is perfect for that. I just want to demonstrate. This is a painting that I did last week. I just did the sky. I was focusing on the sky. One thing that's quite important in painting, if I understand the question properly that was asked about, I think, perspective, then that's one thing I want to introduce to you. If you're not sure how to do those rivers or anything like that, fading off into the distance, then we're going to introduce a little bit of perspective. So it's quite important. So I just want to take you through just a quick, show you just a quick way you can tackle that. So like I said, one of the things that comes into play if you're adding water into your painting scene, if your landscape, then if the water's coming towards you, then there's a thing that we need to pay attention to, and that's the perspective. And if you do a river like this, then that would be more of a looking down, so it would be an aerial view. And then the second one, if you have a look at this and pay attention to the top part of the river, because there's not much, the lines don't meet, they don't go narrower, and that would translate as being uphill, and so that example is wrong as well. And then if we think about the perspective, we could have a look at this one. Now this is more correct, so we want to, you could do the river straight or snaking like this, and as you come down to the bottom, you want to make these as wide as possible, so it just gives you that perspective. Hopefully this makes sense if you're struggling with that. And I think of it like, if you want a reference to go from, you can use your streets, your roads, if you pay attention next time you're out and about, just because they're probably more accessible than rivers and water. So just look then in the street, look where your sort of angles are, and obviously towards the vanishing point these two lines do come closer together and further apart as you come down. So this would be, again, you'd probably want more of a wider bottom, so this would be slightly above, so you're looking a little bit down. So really, if you can just relate this to water as well, you would want more of this sort of shape. If you're on the riverbank or anything like that, then that would be the shape. So just a crude little example, but hopefully it's useful. It does play an important part. I know the example is a little bit crude, and I just didn't want to take a lot of time, but just illustrate how perspective works. And if you did get value from that little sort of demonstration, then please let me know in the comment section, or if you want any more sort of detail on this, then do drop me a comment. So just using a pencil, because I just want to map things out on my painting this time. I know a lot of times I don't use any drawing lines, but just because I want to show the perspective in the river, then I just wanted a little bit of structure to this painting. You can see I've speeded things up a little bit, speeded, I don't know what, sped things up a little bit. Just I don't want to take too long in this video. It's just literally just to show you how to get those rivers in your scenes. So I'm adding a few hills in the far distance. So just to give a little bit of a backdrop to this painting, And then one of the things I don't want to do, because the sky is quite detailed, it's not something that I usually do. There's quite it's quite sharp. There's quite a lot going on there. I want to keep the bottom part of the painting quite simple as I can, and so it's not too much going on, if you know what I mean. You got if you're doing a painting, there's one. If you want detail, then you want some areas that are sort of a bit looser or a bit less detail, if you know what I mean. So I really like doing this, just dropping some colour with the colour that I've put down initially, and that just gives a nice little blend, and it's quite interesting rather than mixing on the palette. I'm still a fan of mixing on the palette. That's quite nice to do, but then I do like to do this as well because it just adds something a little bit different. And then with a clean damp brush, I just want to take out some of the pigment, just so I get a little bit of distance and some atmosphere as well. So I'm going to be placing some trees in this sort of far distance. So as well as perspective in the water, so we've got the angles, the way the sort of lines disappear. We've got also the way you want to paint water is you want to go side to side, so the water does appear flat. And the only time you would sort of use brush strokes coming down is if you had sort of rocks in the water just around the rocks, or obviously some sort of waterfall. But on the main thing is just keeping your water looking flat, otherwise it looks as if it's going to come out of the painting. And so just long horizontal strokes will do, and that's the other way that you can get this realistic looking water, especially for running water like rivers and that sort of thing. And obviously you've got reflections that to consider as well, so that's maybe another video. But I hope this is useful. I hope you found this quite helpful if you are struggling with perspective or getting the water in your scene correct. Just a quick demo. And that's pretty much how you get a successful water in your landscape. So I'd love to know your thoughts if you have any thoughts or suggestions. Or also please give me a thumbs up. I do appreciate that. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.